I think that drag is an affirmation of a reality, a manifestation of the gender difference that many queer people live with in the day-to-day, and it is heightened. There is a heightened reality that gets to be brought to the surface, so that we, rather than hiding, rather than being made invisible, rather than suffering the violence of people looking away from us, we are able, through drag, to perform that manifestation, to perform the whole spectrum of what we feel.
So the YWCA of North Central Washington has been facilitating a drag show for many years.
Drag Queen Story Hour is going on right now, and it's a party.
My name is Dylan, and today we are standing in solidarity with the YWCA for Drag Queen Story Hour.
The mission of YWCA is to eliminate racism and empower women.
Look at the progress we've made as a metric for the progress we're going to be able to make.
We really push for a lot of social justice issues.
My name's John Simons. I am on the board of directors for Wenatchee Pride.
And we've got so many kids here to just listen to a story read by somebody who looks a little bit different than them.
Let's come out and support all of our children. Let's show our inclusion and our acceptance and our love towards one another instead of hate.
Drag queens that dress up in appropriate costumes, but they're always fantastic, and read kids' books to groups of kids. The theme of the books is always around inclusion, kindness.
I'm Bob Boogert, Chelan County Commissioner, District 2. For us to be a community, we need to be able to work together, to be together, and to accept that we're not all the same.
Our goal was to have a table at the last farmers market of the season at Pybus.
We have a long ways to go in this world, but Wenatchee is where we get to call home and where we can show our support the best.
It was always intended to be just very chill. It was posted by a few folks that have pretty large Facebook followings, folks that have pretty loud voices in our community, and they were posting that event with the false narrative about what a drag story hour is. So then what happened was Pybus wasn't able to provide the venue or the space for us anymore, so we changed it and we moved it here.
So it was supposed to be at Pybus, but we ended up getting a lot of hate for it, so they moved it to the YWCA, and it was amazing. There was tons of kids and parents and just families going. Once we walked in, and the way we were just dressed and stuff, it made the kids just gasp for air and just scream in happiness, and it just went off without a hitch. I loved it, and the simple fact that I wish I had that when I was younger. Had I been able to given the chance to go see drag queens and all that without fearing how my family would take it, I would have enjoyed it myself.
Everybody just wanted to love and support and just show that, show their kids that there are different types of people in this world, and that it was, it's okay to do what you do as long as you love it, and there's nothing scary about someone who's, dressed up.
We were not prepared for the amount of people that showed up in support of it. And they walked into the through our glass door here, and the response from especially the kids that were just like, it was like this huge gasp of awe, and they just I walked in with them and I had to turn around and walk out because I was like, I gotta pull it together. I'm gonna start crying, because it was just it was so much leading up to it, and we were so worried. I was so worried about making sure we provided a safe and inclusive and kind environment for kids that were gonna be here, and that one moment, I was like, oh my gosh, we did it.
We're gonna have an amazing night tonight.
all excited. A lot of us are flown in from different areas, and we were putting on a great show. And, you know, even though I would say as a drag queen, Halloween is every day for me, but at the same time, this is the time for people to lose their minds. So we're gonna be here to make sure that they do that.
So this performance actually means a lot to me. It's actually going to be my first time ever being on stage as a drag performer.
I think drag is a huge art expression, and a lot of times it's like an emotional expression for me. Sometimes what I pick to choose, or what I pick and perform, is based off of my current feelings that I feel like I need to portray and express and get out, or sometimes even just going through something hard, like a breakup. I'm gonna give you the best breakup number you've ever seen. Old school drag queens used to be like, oh, well, you have it easy because you're a girl, or oh, you have it easy, blah blah. And so I started doing everything more extra as a way to say fuck you. If you can do it, I can do it better.
I've been doing drag since I was 15. It was around the time when I came out. It allowed me to express who I was without being judged for being gay or being who I wanted to be at the end of the day. I got to create a completely different persona and someone that could stand up to all the feelings of being hurt and not being understood.
So she came to me first at the bar, and I was like, oh, okay, this could work. And then I had a couple shows where she came to me, and then I kind of flew out the nest and started painting myself. It's been actually really cool. I won a national bearded pageant, just making bearded drag more known. And, I mean, it is known, but more mainstream-ish.
This is gonna be my first time performing in public, so I'm nervous.
There is room in our community for everyone, and that is not a controversial statement.
It's been a long, hard fight, but I can see a new day dawning. I've been looking for that sunshine. Send your Holy Spirit. You know I ain't seen it in so long. Everything's gonna work out just fine. Everything's gonna be alright. It's been all wrong.
The Drag Eucharist started as a way to claim public space for queer faith. to bring the reality of queer faith and the queer struggle for faith, an acknowledgement of religious and spiritual trauma, into a public conversation. I think that drag is an affirmation of a reality, a manifestation of the gender difference that many queer people live with in the day-to-day, and it is heightened. There's a heightened reality that gets to be brought to the surface, so that we, rather than hiding, rather than being made invisible, rather than suffering the violence of people looking away from us because there's something that they can't deal with, that they might be uncomfortable because of something they feel inside themselves, or something that they were told about themselves that they had to hide, that they had to push aside or push down. We are able, through drag, to perform that manifestation, to perform the whole spectrum of what we feel.
My name is Dane Breslin. I'm the new minister at Sunny Slope UCC Church of the Brethren, and I'm also a mission developer in the ELCA, which is the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. I want to give a shout out to Mary Big Bull Lewis for being outstanding in the face of this PIBUS debacle. Mary has shown up for the LGBTQ+ community in a real and tangible way and set an example of what that looks like. I think as a member of the queer community, we are learning from you, Mary. We are learning how to show up for equity and justice, and we are going to be having conversations about how we show up for Indigenous rights and reparations in this community in return. To the people who are, like myself, who are feeling afraid or struggling with the reality that there are people in the community who want to harm them or limit their freedoms, or just express hatred and bigotry in the public square, I would say to those people that ultimately they are beloved, and that, I come from a tradition where my teacher says, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid. And what I would say is, I feel really afraid. I feel afraid to be myself in this community in many ways, but I really firmly believe that we have to keep showing up and stepping out into the public square and saying out loud that all human beings deserve dignity and respect, that all human beings, regardless of their gender or sexual orientation or the color of their skin or their ability, deserve, and a million other things, deserve to be here in Wenatchee and be safe. I feel like the people who are spilling hatred and bigotry tend to bring my Christian tradition into the conversation. And so what I want to say specifically in regard to that is that Jesus loves you as you are in all of your beautiful queerness. And there ain't nothing that can take that away, okay?